Here in Illinois, we have some of the wokiest, progressive policies here when it comes to kids. Our governor recently passed a state law requiring tampons in little boys' bathrooms. This is elementary school kids. The curriculum is all focused on hypersexualization of our kids. And our parents, our moms, our dads in the exurban community out here, which Illinois represents, are fed up with this. We want fairness in sports. They can't even believe that this is even happening. My opponent, Bill Foster, wanted to co-sponsor legislation to pass a bill at the federal level to allow biological males in female sports. And so, a lot of people in blue states like Illinois, where some of these policies are already plaguing the state, they want to find hope at the federal level. And when you have members of Congress trying to push this also federally, they really don't feel that their voices are heard. It's sickening and it needs to stop. And our parents must get involved and see what's actually going on with the Democratic Party today.
Okay, this ties in so perfectly to the last guest we had. The last guest, it was related to crime, but it's the same thing here. It's these things that the wacky Democrats believe in that is so out there, like to the average normal person that doesn't really pay too much attention to politics. They're kind of busy with their life, whatever. Like it doesn't even make sense. They're like, what? Like, so when you tell them, hey, don't vote for that guy because he wants men to compete against women's sports, it doesn't even register because they're like, you know what I mean? Like their brain doesn't even compute the insanity of it. So how do you really speak to people and be like, listen, this is what these people believe? And how do you explain the difference in worldviews between someone like your opponent and you?
The one thing that the Democratic Party or even independents and moderates, this is not the JFK Democrats anymore. This is many of them do believe in Marxist ideology, or they support organizations that are for, this cultural wokeism, not to mention the horrible policies that they've enacted from an economic perspective. They're now after our economic free enterprise system through the culture wars. And so it all comes down to money. And ultimately, we need candidates who are not afraid to speak out against this. This is not about right or left anymore. This is about preserving normalcy and common sense in our communities and allowing Americans to just live and thrive and be safe and be normal. And unfortunately, this Democrat Party just doesn't get that. These elitists are out of touch. They want to continue this wokeness. And it's up to us, common sense candidates that want to preserve the values of our country and want to preserve what makes our districts and places like the American heartland great is, again, common sense. And we need to have the courage to speak out. We need to make sure that we are putting our message out there and exposing the ridiculousness and exposing the lies of these Democrats. A lot of them are trying to run as moderates. My opponent certainly is. When he has voted with Nancy Pelosi 100% of the time, is trying to co-sponsor legislation like the one that you just saw, allowing biological males in female sports. That's not common sense or moderate. That is an extremist and too extreme for this district. And we're pushing back and we're fighting back to bring back common sense.